So you considered being a golf influencer.
That's the equivalent of you telling your parents you're going to be a goth rock and roll star, and that's what I'm doing.
Through some of the tips and tricks of being a golf influencer and what it looks like after 5,000, 1,000, and maybe even 10,000 subscribers. What kind of checks are you going to get?
Here it is. Show me the money.
If that's what you're in here for, I recommend throwing the idea away. There's a lot of different avenues you can go when starting a YouTube channel.
Maybe he'll be cool.
People see rock star, you know what I'm saying? But you still trying to get out and work like everybody else.
And there's a lot of nerves when you put a camera onto the golf course. That's why I kind of keep it hidden. My bag is black. My GoPro is black. I don't really bring the mic. I try to make it feel like they're not even on camera if I'm playing with random people, but I always let them know that we're filming and we're trying to go out and make a video. And something like this, you could be out here all day trying to putt, just move on to the next hole. Biggest takeaway from that is the golf course has a flow to it. And the last thing you need to be doing is hitting 2 golf balls and creating a disturbance among the golf course because you're filming. I like to capture the golf course as we're moving through the course. So right now, it's not that no one behind me, so I can take some time to relax. One thing I always do is I get out there and I'm always rushing. So when you get there, be prepared. Make sure you have a battery charge, external drives. I can't express how much battery external drives could be a problem for first times filming on a golf course. It gets hot. Your GoPro is going to get hot. If you're using a phone, good luck. Storage will always be a factor with that. That's why I recommend just using a GoPro your first time. If you're interested, if you're really serious about this, you got to put in a few $100. I hate to say it. So when you pull everything back, I would say get a decent laptop with some good RAM. That's going to cost you maybe $2,000 at tops. You're going to be looking at a GoPro 500, your software 120 a year. At that point, I would say that you're probably comfortable to start moving in that direction, but I can't emphasize enough that you need to be building a foundation prior to that. So go out there, get your phone, just get those shorts. I didn't have shorts when I was filming in 2020. They didn't have them on YouTube. I stayed away from Instagram and all these other social media sites because YouTube's really challenging enough. If you're gonna go do this and you're gonna do YouTube, I recommend only focusing on YouTube for the first couple months. Make 100 videos just on YouTube. You can self-promote through your Instagram if you want, but just be mindful that the more clicks that you're on, just building this library of content for yourself, the more likely it is you're gonna give up because you have to get at least that foundation of videos down. That's why I just focused on top 10 public golf courses in each city and country so I can get better at my editing. So when you're in the beginning, do not be a perfectionist. Everyone that's a perfectionist doesn't make it. You have to make a ton of mistakes in the beginning. You almost have to look foolish, I hate to say, but not too foolish. You don't want to be doing things that are embarrassing on a golf course. And you have to be professional at the end of the day. You got to take good care of the golf course. You can't be making videos of you slamming a golf cart or hitting a bad shot and throwing your club. No one really cares about that. You have to broadcast positive content across the boards, and that will hold over time. People are going to search it, they're going to find you, and then they might be interested in trying to learn more about your golf videos. But rest assured, no one really cares in the beginning. So don't take yourself too seriously. That's the one big takeaway. I bought a lab coat in the beginning, and I was just having fun. And at the end of the day, you look back and it could be cringeworthy, and it is, but I was not taking myself seriously, and I needed to do that in order to get myself out there. So make sure you show yourself. It took a year for me to make content where I'm actually filming my golf swing. That's a big takeaway. So the more you're on camera and getting comfortable with your golf swing, the more likely it is to kind of unfold into something down the road. But now I feel like the content's so saturated that you have to stand out. But you don't want to stand out too much because I think right now it's just really hard to stand out unless you have certain characteristics to you. But that doesn't mean that there's not a chance for you to really take off parabolical in this space. But rest assured, you have to build that foundation before you do. And you have to provide content that's educational at least 30% of the time. Go do whatever you want, but provide 30% of educational golf content. Whether it's other videos and you're just talking to it and comparing it to your swing so that if someone can get better. But if you're out here broadcasting your golf experience and everything like that, and you're not providing a service to someone watching it, I don't think it's going to work out for you because it's not the good type of vibe that you're putting out, in my opinion. It's not a good way to put it, but you know, and everyone's different, but if you got a good foundation and you got good connections, yeah, you can pull it off. But golf is so expensive. I mean, it's such an expensive sport, and you're going to spend $100 and you might get really frustrated that you're out here filming and you suck and you're not having a good time. And there's days like that, or you're with someone that just doesn't care that you're filming, and you know, and you could kind of start feeling it once when it starts to turn on a golf course, when people think you're a liability with a camera. When you get to that point, you need to turn the camera off and focus on your game, and you tend to play a little bit better. But just being really mindful, when you put that camera on, you start to get in your head a little bit more. It's going to be really challenging coming out here and enjoying yourself, filming, getting good content, and then spending a couple hours when you get home to take that content and turn it into a story. It took several months for me to realize the type of avenues that I needed to make content under. It was the public golf, but that was my journey. Your journey is going to be a little bit different. Hopefully, and I recommend doing some public golf courses because that seems to hold very well. However, I tried all different type of things. One of the videos that seemed to be my most popular in the beginning was just picking up golf balls, finding golf balls. I didn't think anything of it. I was just out there picking up golf balls. Surely enough, that one made the most money on my channel. You can see right here, and it was probably the easiest thing I did. Out of all these $100 days, $150 days golfing, it was picking up golf balls in the backyard. That was my most popular video. So just be mindful that you're going to have to try different things, and there's going to be a lot of mistakes along the way. But make sure that you consistently try different avenues of different videos. One thing I'm getting into now is how it got started. I'm interested in some of these golf companies like Callaway and the history behind it, so why not make a video just adding some pictures? Eventually you'll get better at editing over time, so it's not the worst avenue to go down. Once you get to 5,000 subscribers, that's where I think you'll start making $10 to $15 a day. That's pretty decent money. I just had my high of $28.50 yesterday, so I figured now's a good time to start thinking about how do I get other people the heads up of what this starts to look like when you make $10,000 a year, because that's what it's looking like right now if it was consistent. But again, it comes in waves, so it'll drop down to $15 a day in a few days. But again, I don't take it too seriously because it is a hobby, so whatever you do, make sure it's hobby-based. A lot of people say, well, you got to focus on one area. Do whatever you want. I think YouTube will eventually turn into its own self-marketing for each person as a form of revenue. So your YouTube channel might not just be golf, it might just be you down the road. So one thing I focused on with the Professor was the idea of me in like this golf educational role, and that's why I did the Professor. It wasn't because I'm not good at golf, I'm not. So remember, less is more. You don't have to be out here getting every shot. It doesn't have to go in every time. But if it's windy, you're not going to be able to get any footage out of it. And there's some tricks of putting. I like to use a two-sided putter, so depending on the break and the shot. So right now I would go righty, but if the hole was going the other way, I would go lefty. Those are the little factors that I think starts to play a factor when you're taking your game to the next level. Getting 1,000 subscribers was challenging for me. We didn't have shorts at the time. I started in 2020, right during the tail end of the year. And for the most part, I realized how quickly it was to get something like this started from the ground up by myself. I recommend finding influencers that kind of are in the same direction that you're trying to do, but find a niche. I know everyone says that, but you're gonna have to provide a service for someone. That's the biggest takeaway. There's so many people that are doing golf lessons, and that was something I couldn't find. My biggest takeaway was the history of the golf course. I felt like that wasn't highlighted as much, and more importantly, it's something that I'm interested in. So if you're gonna get started with this, know that there's not a lot of money for the first few years, and you have to do something you're interested in. So if you're learning about something, try to make a video to it. It can even be a PowerPoint. It doesn't have to be that good. As long as you're providing a service and maybe even turning it into a Reddit type feel in your videos. My top 10 public golf courses, they're not good. I'll be the first one to tell you, but they at least provide a service for someone interested in learning about public golf in those cities, creating a map geographically to target different golfers, hopefully coming back to my page. Now, I haven't said that it's working, but the profit margins are a little bit higher than just going out here and me hitting a couple golf balls. No one really cares about that. The people that are searching for my content typically just want to know about the golf course. They don't really care about me. I try to throw that away. The biggest takeaway I do is I don't broadcast my footage. And I originally started as Twilight Golfer. So again, I didn't take myself too seriously. I did a lot of changes along the way. And I made sure that if I made a mistake, I got back up. And if there's times I wasn't really about it, but I kind of figured that this is not a bad gig to keep trying to do as a hobby-based thing. I took a couple months off based on burnout and my real job being demanding. And I think that's what it takes. You know, you have to come in waves with this. You can't do it overnight. So if you think tomorrow you'll be monetized, just remember $1.50 a day wasn't even worth talking about, in my opinion. It's all about 4 or 5 years from now. So if you're 20, 22, 25, and even under 30, 35, having a YouTube channel, I want to say, is essential right now. And there's going to be good days. There's going to be bad days. The days where you stopped filming could be the day you got a hole-in-one. There was a time where I got unmonetized because I reposted something that I shouldn't have, that was copyright infringements. And it was. I had to do 3 months. And at the time, I got this hole-in-one. So it's interesting how it works in this YouTube field. It's a yin and a yang. There's a flow, just like there is a flow to the golf course. There's always someone watching you, though. That's the biggest takeaway with YouTube golf. And you don't even realize. Sometimes you'll be out and someone will recognize you. That hasn't happened to me yet. I've heard other YouTube golfers like Play Bad Golf. He's been recognized a few times, and he only has 500, 600 subscribers. I think he's got a lot more now. But when I played golf with him, and again, these were different types of videos I was doing. But again, if you're going to get 400 or 500 views at most, it might not be worth it. But if some of these views hold over time, like this graph right here, like a top golf course in your area, you're learning, you're golfing, and I always say you're growing together. But it's just different fun things that you want to try when out here playing golf. And overall, just have as much fun as you can out there. It's going to be expensive. Depending on what you'll do, I'm in golf right now. You might be realizing that you want to do fishing down the road, but you started as a golf channel. Don't worry about it. You can switch very easily. You hold all your subscribers along the way. And you need those watch times. So just remember, you're not going to get there with your shorts. So you have to provide something people are going to watch for 3-5 minutes at a time. And just know that your first couple videos are going to be bad. Everyone can make a good short. Your first couple videos are going to be bad. So try to do things that are educational based on that fact. So try to keep my videos, my golf reviews, under 5 to 6 minutes. I don't want to waste people's time. I don't want to broadcast. I want to provide some sort of service to them. Now, when I first got started, I felt like it was going to be impossible to get to that monetization phase in YouTube. But rest assured, after a year, you start getting some momentum. It's going to take at least a year before you start to find a foundation. The watch hours is a hard requirement. 4,000 is a lot. That's about 8 hours a day of people watching your content. So one video is not going to do it. I hate to say it. And then the shorts requirement, 10 million or 20, I forget how many, but it's insane amount. I've never even got 250,000 off some shorts. So that's a hard avenue. If you're going to go the shorts avenue, you're going to burn yourself out. I hate to say. I would recommend going the video avenue, but providing some sort of searchable content for someone, or maybe even educational, or your journey on a golf course. A lot of people are doing that though. So try to stand out if you're going to do it. Don't take yourself too seriously, as we mentioned, and don't beat yourself up too much. Like, people like to see bad shots. You know, I'm out here probably majority of the time looking for my golf ball and not taking myself too seriously. Even the people I play with, they're, you know, they think that, you know, you have a camera on, you're probably trying to really keep a score. I don't keep score when I'm playing. I should. I don't. And when you get to that monetization phase, 1,000 subscribers, the watch time, it's exciting, but you're going to be making about $2 a day. That's what I did. So you start to realize, at what point are you going to pull back? So it comes in a wave, just like a golf course. There's a flow to it. In my opinion, with YouTube, there's a flow to it too. Sometimes you push a little bit more into it and you pull back when you get a little burnt out. I recommend just doing things that, again, focus on what you want to learn, and then telling that story while you're learning, but making sure that, you know, you're not a professional. I'm not a lawyer. I'm going to make mistakes. This isn't my expertise. I'm just trying to provide a service in a Reddit type feel. Then you start making $350 a day. That equivalents to about $100 a month. So you can take out the $100. So now you're actually making money, but that's $350 a day, which takes some time to even get to that point. I think Probably my first check was about 2 months after monetization, so that was rough. You start making $5 a day, you get a little momentum, but you can be burnt out, and you have to be making sure you look at that full graph. Is it going in the right direction? We're going to show some pictures right now. But I started realizing that the top 10 public golf courses is probably the best way to go if I need to monetize, subsidize some of this golf that I'm paying for. So I did the 30% rule. I made sure that education content was 30%. Maybe it's not the best educational content, but I made sure that I wanted to turn it into a Reddit type feel. And that's what I did. I recommend even going that route. My videos aren't that good, so try to make them better. Take someone's video, make it better. People like that. Again, you have to have a good skill set. I wasn't, even though I had some background in graphic arts, working is probably just a few months, and it wasn't the best foundation, at least in Adobe Premiere. It was more Photoshop. All right, let's go. Oh, why'd you crush it? And remember, less is more. I have a mic, I have an external drive, I got batteries. I got so many things to keep track of. That's why I almost have to walk the golf course. If you're out here taking a golf cart, make sure you get prepared, because that's a different avenue. It's more of a podcast feel, and you might have to have someone with you. And I realized very quickly, if you're gonna do this, it's just you. You might convince someone else to do it with you, but eventually it's just gonna be you. So put the work in. Overall, just have fun when you're out there. Some days you're not going to have as much fun. Be mindful of the tee times too, because you're going to be paired up with people, and you can't have the freedom of talking and having a mic, and you're going to lose stuff along the way. So don't take, just make sure that you're not going to make money for a few years. I'm 4 years in. I'm not really making enough to get back what I'm putting into it, and that's fine, because this is a hobby-based thing for me. I recommend anyone getting into this, it has to be a hobby-based theme. If you think that this is a real job, God bless you. You got to be really good at it, and there's professionals that are doing this that aren't at the level that some of these golf influencers that are trying to be influencers. There's the ones that are already paving the way, the good, the Grants, and that makes sense because they're already there. To think that you're going to get there, remember, everything comes in a wave. So they're up, they're going to come down. There's other people that are going to move up into this space, but more importantly, I don't think it's going to get as popular as it is now. I suspect the professional golfers are going to start taking their way. Professional influencers are still going to hold tight, and then you're going to have the people that are firefighters, the police officers that have YouTube channels. I think you're going to see a wave of that coming into the play. Maybe that's what I'm hoping, because I have a real job just like you do. And if you have a real job, do not get rid of it. This is a really hard thing to do, and there's no money in it.